Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the score was 121-109. The Lakers lost in Memphis, and I'm about as embarrassed of a Laker fan and a Lakers talker as I've ever been. Memphis Grizzlies humbled me heavily tonight. If you guys follow me, I've been talking about how we've been the best defensive interior team, and they couldn't score in our paint, and then they proceeded to probably score a season high on our paint, 86 points in the paint. A lot of that was off of turnovers. Um, but a lot of that was in the third quarter, right after I said what I said at halftime and how we were a better team because they couldn't score in our paint, and they proceeded to score like 40 points in our paint right after that. So yeah, not my shining moment, not the Lakers' shining moment. But it really just came down to 26 turnovers, 41 points off of those turnovers. And that'll close out any basketball game against anybody, man. You can't beat anybody when you turn the ball over that much. I understood that the turnovers are to be expected. Is a fantastic defensive team you're going up against, and you don't have LeBron James, which means that you're facing all of their defense, and you don't know how to set up your own selves because you haven't been asked to. For the most part, you just play off LeBron James. So everybody had to figure it themselves out, and in doing so, we just saw the lack of continuity that just because it's going to come with that. So when you couple that with them playing fantastic defense, uh, you're gonna get beat pretty good. Uh, there's some things to complain about in regards to the rotations tonight. I am going to say that it wasn't that we didn't have length and size on the floor. It's just that when you play certain guys out of position or you leave certain guys next to certain other guys, you just don't have the dynamic you'll need against a very talented team like this. Uh, we left ourselves without any weak side help in certain situations. Rui Hachimura, we've talked about this many times. He's a fantastic player, but the numbers tell us that the power forward position, he doesn't play as well. We would much rather him play at the small forward position, even though he's a little smaller. Even though he's a little slower by a foot, and he's a bigger body, so you would think that should equate to him being a traditional forward, which he is. But the numbers tell us that for whatever reason, he just plays better as a small forward. And if you play him at the small forward, your rotations are going to make a bit more sense because then you can use him and his size at the three, and it'll allow you to move Mo Bamba into your regular rotation along with Winyan Gabriel, and then you'll have Vanderbilt, AD, Winyan, Bamba, and then Rui there in a rotation that allows you to have supreme weak side help at all times. Darvin Ham left us without that a good portion of the third quarter, and John Morant was able to take advantage of it. Granted, some of that stuff that he was doing was with AD and Vanderbilt on the floor. It was after they had been on the floor for some time, and that's the excuse I'll give them because they were certainly giving up a lot in the paint at that point. Me telling you guys they're the best interior defensive team, front court, that's over. Sorry, I was wrong. They made me look foolish. Tip my hat to the other team. They did that. However, there were things we could have did to give ourselves a much more interior defensive presence. The roster is constructed to keep what happened tonight from happening, and Darvin Ham did not use it properly. Um, so that's what it was, y'all. I ain't deeper than that. He just didn't use the roster right. You left Troy Brown's out there. Troy Brown did some good things defensively at times, but as I talked to you guys about in the first half, Desmond Bane was cooking him in the same curl pattern over and over again. It happened like 3 times in a row. So when you have that happen, that started the process of them actually being able to score in the paint. It was basically those plays, if you ask my eyesight. And then from there, they were able to find scoring in the paint as they continued to attack us in that way. John Morant just took over. I mean, you left us down there with Rui Hachimura and Winyan Gabriel, and I love what I saw from Winyan. Winyan picked up like he hadn't been missed for the last 2 weeks. He'd been playing. He played tonight as if he had never stopped playing, even though our coach had just removed him from the lineup. Same thing with Lonnie Walker. Excellent tonight, as if they had never stopped playing. Which just lets you know how far, screwed we are in regards to how this man's using our rotations. Our best players are sitting, our worst players are playing, and this is just what it's been all season long. Mo Bamba didn't get in until like the last minute of the game when you needed what he brought to the table all game long. That's what it really came down to. Why did we not have any success? Because we did not play Mo Bamba to allow ourselves permanent weak side help all night long. And as a result, The Memphis Grizzlies were able to take advantage of that repeatedly, particularly in the third quarter where they had like a 40-plus point quarter. Basically, John Morant just repeatedly did what a superstar does when you leave yourself without any rim protection. They score. I tell everybody the Memphis Grizzlies, what they want to do is keep you from scoring in their paint and score in yours. And so they were going to try to get in the paint. It wasn't like they were afraid of the fact that we had legitimate rim protection. And since we didn't put that rim protection on the floor a good portion of that third quarter, they took advantage. And so I give them credit. You know, John Morant, 39 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. It's superstar stuff, man. He made me look foolish. And I ain't happy about it either. I ain't happy about it. But I gotta say, I went out on a limb for Anthony Davis. He didn't make me look bad, but in the second half, that defense did not hold up. The first half, all those sequences that made me think that we were killing it defensively in the paint, it was fool's gold because we didn't keep it up and we didn't rotate properly. We didn't use our rotations properly, rather. And the way that we defended the perimeter tonight was just as bad as it's been. I tell you guys, we're not defending the perimeter properly. We let them shoot entirely too many threes. A lot of them didn't fall in the first half, but it didn't really matter because they attacked us in the front, in the paint as well. So, you know, it got to a point where it was like, damn, is the universe kicking my behind? Like, is it because I went on a limb and said all of this that we're getting destroyed so very bad? Like, because it's an exaggeration to a degree for how much energy I was placing into our interior defense versus how bad we actually ended up looking in this particular night. And we looked good. When I say we looked good in the first half, we were blocking every shot they were trying to get. With the exception of those Desmond Bane plays, we were getting the stops we needed, but it just did not hold up. Give Xavier Tillman his credit. He was also fantastic tonight as he's having a fantastic stretch in general. He carried that on. Zoe Zaldana, even though he bricked that dunk down the stretch, that I know he would love to have back. It didn't matter because my team didn't take advantage of it. He also had some other plays that were nice out there, including a reverse jam. We had some good plays in transition. You know, you want to give the team credit. It definitely wasn't all bad. You know, I love what I saw from various players. Anthony Davis had huge numbers. What was it? 28 points, I think. 19 rebounds, 5 blocks or something like that. He really did have a fantastic game. But the second half, we just did not keep the same intensity from the first. You know, Vanderbilt, I will have to say, he did not have a good game tonight. Not for what it is that we needed from him. He did some of the good stuff that he does, but every time somebody passes you the rock, it can't be a turnover, fam. You know what I mean? And I said this in the halftime video. It was one of the few things I was right about. This dude does not have good hands. You need to ignore him as it pertains to the offensive end. Let him get his own. Do not look for him to bail you out. And that's a thing this team is going to have to learn right away. We didn't have this problem with none of the players on our team this season. Usually when we pass the ball to somebody, they're able to catch the ball and either make something happen or not. If you pass him the ball, it's more than half of the time it's going off his hands. He's not going to catch it. Even good passes, he just don't. It's a very serious deficiency for Jared Vanderbilt. And this was something that we came to understand as we listened to a podcast where the guy from their side of the fence was able to express, rather from the Minnesota side of the fence was able to express what he remembered from Vanderbilt's tenure being on the team. And he told us that this guy has some of the worst hands in the world, like literally bad hands, but will figure himself out in other areas, will make up for it tremendously. You just have to make sure you do not pass him the ball. And our team is learning that in real time. And unfortunately, it's taken us too long to understand this. We're continuing to do it. It's like, yo, get it now. Understand it now. Nah, stop giving him the ball. Stop giving him the ball, man. He's Dennis Rodman. He ain't going to do nothing for you offensively unless the ball comes to him and he's able to do some things within his own rhythm, etc. But if you're trying to make plays, do it for someone else. So that's something we have to learn. We have to learn fast, man. We don't have time to make continuous, trait mistakes, so to speak. Traits that guys have and you don't understand that these traits are there. We don't have time to be not getting it. We got to be sharp and we got to learn these guys quick. People got to learn each other fast. So that's a real thing, man. Lonnie Walker. Stop removing Lonnie Walker from the rotation, Coach Ham, please. As I told you guys, he's ready to give us 30 points at any moment. And what happened when he got his minutes tonight? How many points he come off the bench with? 25 points off the bench. He was the best scorer we had, not named Anthony Davis. I just need our coach to see this, believe it, and find someone else to remove from the rotation. I know who we need to remove. I'm going to tell you who the new guy is. It's Troy. Troy is too hot and cold for this roster, man. And when he's hot, he's on. He can go for 14 rebounds, hit a bunch of threes, be the best defensive player on the floor. But then he'll have nights like this where you'll give him the same amount of minutes, and he'll be the worst player on the floor. Just simply the worst player on the floor. He couldn't get nothing going on the offensive end, lackluster all night long. And on the defensive end, he was not himself. He was getting cooked. And the stats will tell you he was bad, but Darvin Ham will leave him out there like he was good, just like he did with our shooter, Beasley, in the last game. And, that's none of those things that I don't really think I found myself complaining too much about with Darvin Ham. He's usually pretty good about getting guys off the floor when they're not playing well, but it seems like since we made these trades, that trade has gone out the window. And now he's leaning particularly on Troy too much, and Troy is doing too little. And so that's a problem. And also, I got to say, we got to get a point guard, man. Here we go again. We saw a situation where when you leave Darvin Ham with an opportunity to figure it out, he's going to do something that don't make no sense. You cannot leave us without another point guard down there. Dennis Schroeder cannot be the only floor general we have. I like Austin Reeves, but his handle, we saw it in the first quarter. It was one of the reasons why we started turning the ball over so much, because he kept trying to give dribble penetration, and the ball would dribble right off his foot. And that started the process of everything going wrong, in my humble opinion. We need to get us another point guard who can play behind Dennis Schroeder and make good basketball decisions with this lineup. Because right now, we're leaving ourselves with players playing out of position. You saw rotations with Lonnie Walker and Austin Reeves down there and Troy Brown, and then proceed to not see nothing work because we didn't have a point guard on the floor. And I can't blame Darvin for that, because you only left us with one. Our GM, I'm speaking in regards to, we only got one right now. So that's something that we're going to have to do in the buyout market, even though I know nobody wants to waste no money on a point guard in regards to the buyout market. But right now, it's a legitimate deficiency in our roster without being able to rely upon D'Angelo Russell's health. You can't be left with just one point guard, man. Sorry. And that was a big part of what went wrong out there. Dennis Schroeder's a scoring point guard. His basketball IQ is questionable on the offensive end when it comes to making plays for other people. We saw some terrible passes out there. He ain't used to that type of stuff, and it's just not his game, man. He's a scoring point guard that has some defensive intangibles, who may be able to get some assists off of his scoring ways. But when you're asking him to do all this for your team when LeBron ain't there, you asked him to be a playmaker and all that, you already went left. That right there is the beginning of the end right there. So we saw why he can't be the floor general, period. So it's just a lot of stuff we understood tonight. We learned some things tonight. I like what I saw from Malik Beasley defensively, getting steals in this game. He had steals in another game where he didn't shoot very well. So he's showing me on the defensive end that he has something there. We got to keep continuing to believe in that. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I tell you what I really think honestly went wrong, besides giving credit to the other team who really took it to us and took advantage of what was in front of them. But we didn't put in front of them what they should have had in front of them. When you sub out Vanderbilt, this is when you sub in Bamba, period. That mistake is why we lost. Going to Rui at the 4 is why we lost. Because at the end of the day, you have no weak side help. And what I saw was Memphis seeing that and enjoying that all second half long. That's what I saw. Just an error in substitution patterns. Easily fixable. I don't know if you win the game by doing that, but you certainly keep them from scoring 86 damn points in your paint. That definitely doesn't happen. When you got Mo Bamba who stands damn near 8 feet with his hands in the air, it's not happening. And then you put Wenyen Gabriel next to him instead of leaving Wenyen Gabriel as your only defensive big out there who's undersized at the 5. And then you got Rui, who don't think at the 4 spot as a 4 because he's a better 3. He ain't going to think defense on that side of the ball is what I'm saying. He's not weak-siding it. Not to the point where you need him to for Wenyen Gabriel. No, man. This type of stuff that it costs you. And then you have that going up against Jaren Jackson and Tillman. Those is eating. Those are real bigs. Real centers. When we talk about that, AD's not a real center. Vanderbilt is not a real center. Wenyen Gabriel's not a real center. They all play big. They all play defense, but they're not real centers. So when you don't play Bamba, guess what you don't have? An actual center going down there against real centers. That's also what happened. So as far as I can tell, man, it's hard to be very respectful without telling, in how I feel about the situation, because it just comes down to not feeling good about the IQ of some of the stuff we're seeing down there. It just comes down to silly mistakes that are made by people who just need to not make those type of decisions. I need you to use that roster better, Darvin Ham. And unfortunately, we're past the point where we can afford to lose games. And we're past the point where we can afford to lose games. And while we did see some things down there that helped us understand that we are not the greatest team in the world without LeBron James, we also saw some stuff down there that we could have just did differently that would have helped us win this game. And we didn't do those things, and we looked as if we were helpless when we really were not. We weren't helpless. There were just times out there where we just didn't look like we knew what to do. And that's unfortunate, because we're running out of games that we can afford to lose. So we got another game coming up, a chance to get it right against OKC team that's very young, very athletic. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I don't know what is up with his health. Last I heard, he might have been a little hurt. I don't know. But we got to find a way to win that game on their floor off of this nonsense game. And like I said, Anthony Davis's numbers were great, but that interior defense that was there in the first half, it was like everybody heard my video and said, let's just make him look absolutely foolish. John Morant heard that, used my video as bulletin board material, and Anthony Davis said, oh, he believes in me like that? Let me let him down. Let me let him down. That's how I feel, man. That's exactly how I feel. I feel completely and utterly embarrassed because I said complete opposite of what it is that ended up turning out. I said we were defending in the paint. They couldn't score us in the paint, and that's why we're a better team without them, and they proceeded to just demolish us in the paint right after I said it. And I'm just watching us continue to let the layup after layup after layup, and I'm seeing my point just dwindle down to just obscurity. You know what I'm saying? My credibility just going down the toilet as I'm watching these guys just continue to lay the ball up over our guys. And I'm just saying, wow, how cruel of a universe am I in, to where I would say be so serious and so demonstrative about a particular thing, and it be so completely opposite of what it is I was talking about. You don't get that perfect storm of bad luck in that way very often. And that's exactly what we ran into tonight on this channel. I've been right about a lot of stuff, man. But this time, my team just let me down. They just let me down. You know what I'm saying? And I learned a hard lesson. Just because things are lined up the right way and you got the heart doesn't mean your team going to show up and have that same passion. Just because you believe, winning matters, all this. I mean, guys really, you know what I'm saying? Nah. Just because you understand how simple it would be to make certain things work on a basketball floor, it doesn't mean that the guys down there who are holding the paperwork and holding the board, making the plays, are going to see it that way. I was watching Darvin. He was so demonstrative about what he wanted the plays to do. I'm looking at him as they're showing him on a timeout, and he's focused, and I'm sitting there, I'm thinking this man is focused on the wrong stuff. His mind is intent, and it's just pointed in the wrong direction. All he needs to do is just put some centers on the floor, and life would be so much easier for him. It's like this small ball mantra, and it's fast foot. Just keep up with what's good. What's good with being a fast-footed player if when the ball goes off the rim, their team is getting it and just put it back up. We're so, we want to make sure we're doing all these various different things that he's focused on. And it's like it's offensive-minded. You're putting players on the floor for offensive reasons, but then they don't have the continuity pieces on the floor to help complement that. And then on the defensive end, you're leaving us completely wide open. It's like these choices. What are you focused on, man? So that's where I'm at. Embarrassed, frustrated. I want to cuss out the coach, but I'm more so just humbled. You know what I'm saying? What credibility would I hold tonight? I said we had the best defense in the paint. They scored 86 points on us. What am I going to say? Is anything I'm going to say right? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? That's where we at with that. So as far as I can tell, we all have to eat crow. Only, Ja gets to do the gritty. They got the last laugh in this particular game, and we were not the better team. That's it. We were not the better team. Without LeBron James, we're not the better team. And It's sad because I think if we had a different coach, we would have been a better team. I don't think we need to swap a single player at all. We just needed somebody else can control the lineup tonight. And if we would have had that, we would have won. So I think somebody who could have recognized that Rui Hachimura is a 3 and that Mo Bamba needs to be in regular rotation tonight. Somebody that needs to understand that Troy Brown is having the worst game of his life and needs to not be playing tonight. Just somebody who did those things. If we would have had those things, I think we would have won. I don't think Memphis was shooting well enough in the first half to be able to kill us in the paint like they did if we would have put the length on the floor that I'm telling you we should have. Wenyen Gabriel and Mo Bamba in simple rotation in the third quarter stop all of that. You keep Rui on the floor, you just move Troy out of there. Stops all that. Then they have to deal with 2 guys with length who think rebound, who think easy putbacks. You see what Wenyen did in the limited minutes that he got. He had like 8 rebounds, 6 points, a steal. He only had like 11 minutes through the third quarter. Did all of that in limited minutes. If he would have given the minutes that Troy got, do you know how much production we would have got? Especially if you would have had him next to somebody who could always help him on the weak side. Mamba, Wenyen, having AD next to him, having Vando next to him, his teammate from college. Ain't seen them on the floor together yet. The continuity is there for that specific reason, and this coach ain't even tried it. And I'm looking at the rotations he's putting down there, and I'm just saying, what the hell do you expect to have happen here? Rui Hachimura, Troy Brown, Lonnie Walker, Austin Reeves, and Wenyen Gabriel. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Against John Morant, Jaren Jackson. These guys aren't even used to playing on the floor together because you'd removed 2 of them from the lineup, period. Not because they weren't playing well, just because of you, whatever you thought. And so when they finally do get their number called, they don't know what the hell they're doing. And this is what I was trying to prevent the whole time. This is what I've been talking about. This is why you play them in regular rotation. This is why you don't lean on all them 3 little guys that we ran all season long to no avail for no reason. You don't do any of that because when this comes around, you don't have the continuity concerns that we are actually facing right now because those players would have been in constant rotation all leading up into this point. Now you got them trying to figure out what the hell in times when you need to know what the hell and need to be winning games. And they don't know, they don't have a clue or what they're supposed to be doing. They have no idea what they're supposed to be doing. And it's because this coach was leaning on Patrick Beverley all damn season. Like, this is why we're getting to a space where it's like, I am really frustrated. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even about me having any concerns with the roster. I'm very happy with my roster. My roster's fine. I don't have to remove a single player from it. But as I said earlier and as I say often, if the person holding the controller, if this is a video game, if the person holding the controller doesn't know what they're doing, it doesn't matter how good your roster's going to be. You're going to lose going up against somebody who has an understanding of what to do on the other side. They're going to beat you. And that's what we saw tonight. We just got out-coached. We got out-strategized. And you just saw the bad decisions leading all the way up to this game hurt us. The lack of continuity. These were things that we decided into. You decided to lean in on small guys. You decided to play all them bad players throughout the year instead of your young guys. You decided to lean on Anthony Davis and LeBron James all season long when you knew they had health issues. You know what I'm saying? These are decisions that led up to where we at. So now, salute Kobe minute. When we find ourselves needing to win games, we just don't have that continuity. Guys don't play a certain brand of basketball that has confidence attached to it. Guys are running plays they don't know, turning the ball over left and right because they ain't been running plays all season. Choices that we should have never, ever found ourselves finding ourselves a part of. You know, with the consequences like this. So, you know, this is a disappointing loss, but it just is what it is. We did things the wrong way, Lakers. Hiring a rookie coach for a win-now team. You did things the wrong way. And I'm telling you right now, I don't know what's going to happen over the next 19 games, but this loss was accredited Not to the fact that we didn't have D'Angelo Russell and LeBron James, but to the fact that we did not have Mo Bamba on the floor. That's the truth. If people really want to know, you lost because you just didn't take interior defense seriously tonight. You let John Morant look completely and utterly godly out there. And that could have been prevented by just a little extra length and 6 more fouls. You know, instead of a lack of defensive mindset when you sub the wrong way. Got small forwards guarding centers, and power forwards guarding point guards and stuff like that. I mean, I like Vanderbilt down the stretch on John Morant, but you couldn't think to put him on John Morant in the third quarter when he was doing all of that? Like, just silly stuff. You're just sitting there like, man, after you see John Morant go for 7 or 8 layups, you see Jaren Jackson put just a ferocious putback dunk on Anthony Davis's head. And you watch this stuff and you don't think, man, let me try to see if I can put some size on the floor. Let me see if I can get Mo down there and get Winion down there to give those guys a breather. Give myself some length. Because length can equal a lot of good things. And you see Vando go 1 for 6 and bumble the ball off his hands the 7th or 8th time in a row. It's like, well, maybe if I go to Mo Bamba, I might be able to get something that's not coming this way from Vando right now. Nah, he playing. He treating the boy Mo Bamba like he's Damian Jones, just like we said earlier. And then you can see his choices in who he's pushed down the depth chart. It rears its ugly head when you see how good these guys are when they finally do play again, as we saw tonight in Lonnie and Winion. So I'm over it, man. I'm over it. I don't have a whole lot of good things to say anymore about Darvin Ham. He's the weakest link. There's nothing left to get rid of. I'm sorry. I'm just watching coach after coach after coach that we hire just give me low basketball IQ every year. And I'm so tired of being tired of coaches as a Laker fan. I'm serious, you guys. This ain't even about Darvin Ham. This dates back about 6 coaches. I am so sick of these coaches, yo. And he's just another one. That's all this is. That's all this is. It's just another bad coach, y'all. I'm sorry. He's got some good intangibles. Guys run through a wall for him. You know, there are a lot of good things that I'm not pointing out that our teams have, his traits that really help us. You look at that record, I promise you. And when I say this, I mean this with all sincerity. I don't think it was 3 of those losses that wasn't accredited to that coach. All of them had to do with his decisions. All of the losses, y'all. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. It's been a coaching decision that has cost us a good massive majority of our losses. And it's just stuff like this. It's just bad rotational decisions, night in, night out. Bad rotational decisions, night in, night out. And tonight was just yet another drop in the bucket. So, you know, the stress level is high because we can't afford to lose games, and we're dropping them because of our rotation decisions, and just ultimately just give credit to the other team. Of course, you want to make sure that they get their credit. It's hard to give teams credit when you know how to stop what it is they're doing and you just didn't do it. I would love to say John Morant was amazing in the third quarter because he was. But I also know if I'd have just put the right players on the floor that a lot of that stuff doesn't get done. It just don't happen. Because, see, for me, it's like if I'm not going to pay Mo Bamba until the final minute of the final second, then that means I could have let him foul all the way out in the third quarter. I could have left him on the floor for 6 consecutive fouls, and it would have been just fine. Except for the free throws that would have credited to the other team. But what I'm saying is, if he was that dispensable, if he was that just whatever the word would be, if he just didn't matter that much, then why didn't I just use him with reckless abandon at will? If for not to just take advantage of his length and shooting ability. Because I know he would have had about 4 blocks tonight. I know that. I know a couple of them layups and a couple of them foot black dunks and stuff like that. A couple of those Tillman dunks would have been blocked. I know they would have been tipped out the other way if he was on the floor. I know this. Especially if Winion was on the floor. I know this. So I can go at John Morant and say, yo, you went crazy in the third quarter. Congratulations. But I also know that he was doing that on Rui Hachimura and Troy Brown. I know that. I know that the last line of defense that he was seeing in that situation a lot of times was just Wenyen Gabriel by himself. I know that. That should not have been. So how much credit do I want to give the other team when I know how to stop what they did? That's what I'm saying. It just gets to a point where you just look at the coach and say, I'm not as helpless as you making us look, fam. I ain't that helpless. You know, my team ain't as helpless as you made us look. This wasn't as hard as you made it. That's it. And as a fan, I'm sick of saying that, y'all. So after we fire this coach, I don't know when it's going to happen. It's going to happen because that's just what's going to happen. After we fire this coach, can we please hire somebody with a very, very high basketball IQ for rotational decisions and someone that respects size? This is important to me. I'm not calling for us to fire Darvin Ham. I'm telling you that anybody in their right mind has made the decision to probably fire Darvin Ham after watching what the totality of all of this. You're going to fire him. You might not fire him tonight, but you're going to fire him. And when you do, please get us somebody that we ain't going to want to fire right afterward. That's all I'm asking. Because that's how frustrated I am right now. When we need to win and we drop in games like this because of this kind of stuff. No more, man. No more. All them damn turnovers. I know why we had all them turnovers. It was because we didn't play these people all the way leading up to these moments. Russell Westbrook. Patrick Beverly. You understand what I'm saying to you? That's why we had them damn turnovers. I know why. Because this team did dumb stuff with the roster all the way up into the season, leaning on people that could not be leaned on now. People that ain't even on the team right now. We leaned on to a losing record. That's what we did, to a losing record. Only to find ourselves in a situation with none of the people on the team, and now we need the people we didn't use to know each other, play well in a win-now situation where we can't afford to lose. That is why we turned the ball over so much tonight. So I'm going to leave it at that, man. Game ball goes to anybody on the other side of our team, man. Everybody on Memphis side, nobody on Lakers side. Why? Because y'all baby look absolutely foolish, fam. That's why ain't nobody on our team getting the game ball. Because I said we the best interior defensive team in the league, and you proceeded to give up 86 points in the paint. So I'm embarrassed. Everybody enjoy all the videos that led up to this. You should get a good laugh out of it. Salute Memphis. Y'all made me look foolish. Y'all better team than the Lakers, and that's it. BDL 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.